It's spring, so that means getting the hot rod back out again. Been on hiatus for a couple of months here while I was waiting for this side of the garage to be able to start doing some metal work again. And this might look familiar. It's the visor from the front of the Model A. What I'm working on right now is I've been thinking for a while about how the canvas top is going to connect to the front, and I wanted to make it waterproof. I wanted to try and make it look fairly stock, so I couldn't find any pictures online of how that's done back in 1930, so I'm really just customizing it. And what I'm doing here is I've added an extra 3-inch strip across the top. I'm just starting to flush weld it all the way along here. I've got myself a little bead that I put underneath, a flange that I put underneath, just to give it some extra metal. So I'll continue spot welding, making sure it stays nice and flat, and I'll show you where it's going to go on and give you an idea. I'll go ahead and get those spot welds in, and then what I'm going to do on the bead roller is I'm actually going to run myself a round bead, nice straight line all the way across. Right behind that is where the canvas is going to stick down, and the goal here is that little bead that's at the top will just kind of help wick air and water off, try and stop it from getting underneath the canvas there. So it'll be a pretty solid bead going across. But before I do that, I just want to make sure I have a really flat surface on the front side here. I want it to look like that piece of it was never connected. Quick update for you guys. We've got the header panel on. I've done a little bit of bead rolling, a whole lot of spot welding. I've pretty much cleaned up, making the welds nice and flush. So it's looking pretty good. Ran into a few little issues with the bead roll here. What I wanted to do was just put a little curve around the edge, and I didn't quite have enough metal for that. The reason being is the top is actually going to go right across the wood beam that will be right here, and the canvas will stop right about there. So just that little bit, I don't know, just a thought of rain or wind coming across here. I didn't want it to get under the corner of the fabric, so I'm hoping just having this little curve here kind of wicks water away to the side. So it looks fairly straight. The panel's cleaned up, but I want to show you an issue that I'm running into at the moment. If we take a look at the very back of the car, from the back here, what you'll notice is there's ever so slightly a warp right around here. And you can see it dips down just a little bit, and then the curve is just fine all the way across the edge. And the reason I think this is happening is I don't have a flange rolled into the edge right here. So this pan is pretty flat. Even if I got that curve perfect, I think wind and just movement, even if I'm sitting here pushing on it, sanding it, getting it ready for paint, I think that'll still warp. So next step here for me, I'm just going to try and give this a little lip and see if it will give me a nice panel that will stay exactly where I left it. And then we still have some work to do just on the other side there to clean that up as well. After all that work, the moment of truth, I'm going to weld the visor down along with welding the sides here. I worked on just getting all the fit and finish together, getting all the shapes right. And it's really hard to get any kind of brackets in there to make sure it's not going to move. So I'm just going to have to hold on to it, do little tack welds here and there, and kind of work my way along until everything is super smooth, has all the right curves on it, and hopefully it works out. The only other thing I'm trying to figure out at the moment is right underneath, if you see It looks like it's metal to metal along the visor and the header panel right there. And I'm just wondering if I should put maybe something rubber, or if I'm just going to caulk it. I want to make sure there's not too much gap there. So that's the last piece I'm going to work on. Once it's welded, this isn't going anywhere. So I just have to make sure that there's absolutely nothing left I need to worry about. And yeah, get to work. Damn it. Already screwed up. All right, all tacked on. It ended up working out for the most part. I did end up with just a little gap here, you can see. I'm probably going to clean this metal up a little bit from the previous repair. Get myself a little piece of metal here and just kind of tack it in there. Since most of the grinding is going to happen on the outside, I think it'll turn out pretty flat once it's getting ready to paint. The other thing that showed up today, I actually have drip rails that are going to go in, so I think that's going to be the next video, setting up drip rails in the Model A. Thanks for watching.